We had a little technical difficulty. I think we're back. Mr. Couturi last was addressing the about any changes in the laws, and could you reiterate just?
Yeah, basically laws would stay the same. These are all sensible laws, you know, the outdoor wood burning things and speeding by the schools and alcohol and these things. They're all good laws, so they're not gonna change. They're all gonna stay the same.
All right. The next question is, many village residents have expressed worries about the fate of the cemeteries within village limits. Will the town be taking care of those?
The town already takes care of one of them in the village down by the, I don't know what they call that, Hickory Grove Road that comes up this way. We already do that one anyway. The big one that's Mount Hope Cemetery there, by state law, the towns have to take them over. There's no closing a cemetery, you can't shut them down. The town will actually have to take that over. And whether we do it more efficiently than the village is doing now, who knows? We'd have to hire somebody to do the mowing and the take caring of it. And the town highway crew does the road already, so that doesn't change either. There's none of them that I know about that ever would close. They gotta stay going. We have people living up there too, or, you know, we have buried there. Why would we close it? Can't.
All right. One of the rumors around town is that since the Community Fire and Rescue is a private company contracted by the town and not controlled by the town government, that they can raise the cost of fire service to the town at any time, and that they are in fact planning to do that. Since the town has so much invested in CFR, it's not likely that you would simply seek less expensive coverage with another fire company. So what would the town do?
Well, that was an emergency situation when we started the new company, and whether you believe it or not, it is a private run business there, but it is a town fire department. The town board still answers for them and what have you, you know, to that sort of effect. And they're on a 5-year contract at X number of dollars. Now, even to cover the village, the tax don't even have to go any higher. There'll be a little more call volume involved, and the tax for the fire protection won't hardly change a bit. There's a little bit more money have to be put in for, what do they call it, workman's comp, and that's the only basic change there would be, you know, very little money. And, you know, people think that they're paid. They are not paid. You go on a call, I don't care if it's a house fire, a medical call, or anything like that, what does the resident owe you? Not a nickel, because it's all volunteer done and it's under contract. You know, they cover for fires, they cover for anything. There's no pay done for anything. If people donate money, big deal, they donate money. There is no fees involved. And none of the members, they're all volunteers. Nobody's paid. The chiefs aren't paid, the president isn't paid, the treasurers, nobody's paid. They're all volunteers.
All right, thank you. Staying on the topic of the community fire and rescue, how do you, there are a number of issues that I would like to present
Sure.
one at a time. So CFR, so one of the issues is CFR is too far away to respond to village emergencies in a timely manner.
That's very silly. We respond out in the town outskirts all the time, and very little time frame. Our response times are excellent. We have 4 mobile units that are out and about the community that respond to medical calls directly, and we have 2 stationary that are in the station that anybody could drive by and jump in and take one of those vehicles to the calls. I don't want to, should I say it? I don't know. I heard them en route for a motor vehicle accident the other day, and they said they're en route in the village, and it was in the village. Took them over 5 minutes to get there. Now, my wife drove by, and I says, anybody there? She says, no. One of our members are directing traffic. And I says, there's no vehicle. They said they were en route 5 minutes ago. So nobody showed up. So we can definitely beat them 10 times over. I don't care where it is. We go to the farthest reach of the towns. We go to Cayuta, and we're there within minutes. you know, just the way that we operate. When the tones go off, we're running. I mean, that's the way it works.
All right, thank you. The town used sale tax money that should, oh, so apparently these are concerns again.
Sure they are.
So
yes,
the town used sales tax money that should have gone to the village to help CFR.
Well, there is a tax law in the state of New York, and it states there, I think the number is 1262, New York State tax law. Any town with one or more villages incorporated in it, as long as the village gets their own sales tax money, the town can use it for any outside village activities, including fire protection. It's written right down in state law. And I don't want to bring up bad things about the issues of why we did all this. It's not, I don't think it's proper, but, you know, we were in emergency mode, and I had to go to Erin for fire protection, 10:30 at night, to sign contracts, because Mike Smith, the county coordinator, says, get going, George, we gotta get this moving, get going on it. So then we decided to do our own, and I used sales tax money to buy the first engine, and all the other equipment that's up there was bought from the money that was not given to the village for their contract, so it was all contracted already for fire protection. And even though one of the residents of the village board thinks that the sales tax money should have been allotted for the village, it's not true. State law says for any outside village projects, including fire protection.
All right. CFR's debt will make taxes jump.
No, it's all paid within the contract. They got a grant for the building, and it was a low, either low or no interest loan. I don't know if there's interest on it or not, because I'm not that involved with it. But it was a 12-year loan, I think, and they make payments, and they got a few left only, and it'll be paid for. They have a payment on 2 trucks, I think, a brush truck and a mobile chief unit that responds to all kinds of calls. It goes to fire calls and medical calls, right from wherever it is.
The town taxes are used to pay some members of CFR a salary.
No, that's what I said. All of them, all the members of CFR are actually volunteers. Nobody gets paid, not one of them. The president doesn't get paid, the chiefs don't get paid, nobody gets paid. It's all volunteers.
All right. Town taxes are being used to provide some CFR members with vehicles, gas, and maintenance, and these vehicles are also used for personal use as well as department use.
They're the roving vehicles that I'm talking about. There's 4 of them. Now, I own one of them. It's my own vehicle, and it's a fully response vehicle for medical calls. If there's a call, I go directly to the call, and I take care of business. Now, the vehicle they're talking about is a CFR vehicle, and they're paying for that vehicle itself through their contract monies. And we do fill the gas and diesel fuels up at the highway barn, but we also pay for that fuel quarterly. We ask them for the price at the current rate. They give us, we have the amount of gallons that were written down for each vehicle, and it's all documented, and we pay for that every quarter. The village fire department goes to the school, and they must pay for it quarterly also, I would assume. Somebody's got to pay for it. They thought that's not right. Well, it might seem like the chief is using it for personal business, but when he's out and around, if the call goes off, he's there to go right away. So it makes big sense. It saves lives, it's quick response times. He responded to a call in the village one time within 30 seconds. He was on the road going there, and the village didn't respond for some reason, so the county coordinator toned out CFR department, and he was coming down Main Street. Turned into the old house, you know, the senior housing place there, and was there within 30 seconds.
All right.
I mean, that makes a big difference.
Okay. So moving on to another question.
Sure.
The Village, VanEtten Village residents will have the opportunity to cast their ballots for or against dissolution on Monday, December 11th, from noon to 9 p.m. at the Village Hall. Should the vote to dissolve the village be decided, how do you see the town of VanEtten in years to come?
Well, hopefully it improves. Our board has always been for the people, and we're concerned. You know, we live here too, and it ain't like the village is some strange outcast unit. They're part of us, no matter what. They are part of the town, and we care what happens to them too. And they can run for the town board or any position that's available during election time or anything like that. We encourage them to get involved, come to the town meetings, you know, that's what we're about, you know, let them speak.
All right. Are there any rumors that you are aware of, not referenced here, that you haven't already addressed, that you would like to address?
Well, not really. There are quite a few issues that we've discovered in our investigations. I don't know if I should bring that up now, but you know, the water is the biggest issue, and apparently the village kicked in money from their reserves to help pay for water. And if the town takes it over, I don't see that the town will be kicking in money from our reserves to pay for water. Somehow something's got to be fixed, you know, that ideas of things. I do know that if they vote to dissolve, we will be here to work together, and the taxes have to go down with one government instead of two.
All right, I have to go back for a second.
Sure.
Do you feel there is anything that will enable the two governments and fire departments to work together? Excuse me, the question is, if the vote is for the village to remain, how would you proceed? How do you feel is there anything that will enable, that you can see, to enable the two governments and the fire departments to work together for the best of the entire community?
Well, we've tried to do that. You know, you probably don't know, but I belong to CFR. I'm a captain and an EMT, and I've asked the village mayors in the past. I didn't ask Jake yet, but I have asked other ones, and I says, too bad our fire departments can't work together. And the comment said to me was, not in my lifetime. And I'm going, are you serious? You know, with training and personnel and equipment, CFR is far superior than the village department is. Now, the village department people are all volunteers, just like we are. I can't knock them for a second. They're all willing to go and serve and do their things. Now, if they dissolve, they're more than welcome to join CFR. I do know they're going to want to be trained, because the stipulation of our chief is, what do you want to do, George? You're going to join the department? I said, yep. What are you going to be, medical or fire? I said, medical. So I've been in 2 schools already for medical things. I went to EMR school first and EMT school after that. He wants everybody to be trained, because the state requires that sort of thing nowadays. We're not volunteers from the farmlands anymore and jumping off their tractor and coming down to fight fires. You have to be trained. And we're just adamant trainers. There was 2 people in school today, and there's constantly somebody in school, every place. I've been to leadership school. They wouldn't give me credit for it because I didn't have firefighter 1. I told the instructor there, that if you don't mind, I just want the knowledge. He says, well, yeah. He thought it was unusual, but I went and stayed there, passed the course, but he wouldn't give me credit for it. You know, every one of us are trained. So I do know that the village hadn't been trained in a few years, and they had a report that gave out a list of people. Most of them on the list were dead already, or moved. You know, there was no current members. So we're concerned about, always our concern is the school, because we have, our families are in the school, and if our department, working together with the village department, can respond simultaneously to things at the school even, you know, we feel it'd be more comfortable, because we have over 15 EMTs, you know, we're ready to rock and roll.
All right, well, thank you. Now, if the residents have any questions,